Hi, welcome to my video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about um, Gentoo. So I got Gentoo fully updated to the latest system. It's on the latest kernel as well, 6.7.4. So this system is completely updated, really good. I got one little issue here, and that is the repository for KDE on Gentoo. Let's say you wanted to test out KDE 6. You just want to, install the unstable packages and just, test it out. Like what you can do on Arch Linux or on FreeBSD or OpenSUSE. And these three systems that I just named, you can easily install the unstable KDE, like really easily. Like FreeBSD is probably the easiest way to install KDE 6. I gotta say, like, of all systems, you would think FreeBSD would probably be the worst. It actually was the easiest process for me to install KDE 6 onto the system. Arch Linux is pretty much right on par with FreeBSD. I would say that the reason why I say FreeBSD is easier is because all you got to do is port snap, fetch and port snap extract, and basically just install the port packages or port package or package, neither from source, or you can do it through the binary source, and it's just like one. It's just a package basically. They got it separated. They got one for KDE 6 and they got one for Plasma 6 and got one for Plasma. Plasma is just basically, the stable Plasma. And then you have Plasma 6, which is the testing of KDE. And if you have Plasma install, what it'll do when you install KDE 6, it will basically uninstall your Plasma from it'll uninstall the stable Plasma. So that's pretty cool. I find FreeBSD is actually probably one of the best ways and best implementation of installing beta software of a desktop environment. Now Gentoo is supposed to be sort of a rolling release distribution if you want it to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's not out of the box, right? It's stable. But I'm saying, like, there's options where you can make it rolling release, basically by doing this. And like if I just cat my portage make.conf file, you'll see here so right here, except keywords, I just put that little squiggly line AMD64. So and accept license, I accept all license because I don't really care about free or non-free or software. I use what I need to use, right? Anyways, so basically this here is, sort of like a way to run basically unstable packages. So when it comes to like me wanting to test out KDE 6 on Gentoo, it's just like they mask the system because they don't want Gentoo to be unstable, but like just like to unmask a piece of software and to basically try to put it onto the system, because it's really easy to just roll back to the stable system. And I know like they want stability on their system, but what's the point of having KDE repository from GitHub, and if they're gonna just mask everything and make it hard for users to just want to test out KDE 6? Because if you're testing out a desktop environment, you probably pretty much know how, you probably much have the knowledge to basically, roll back to where you had before. The thing is, I just wanted to see the process, like how easy it was, because I don't really care about testing out KDE 6 because I know it's pretty buggy, and I can see why it's masked. But the thing is, my point is, like, why make it so hard on the users? Like, Gentoo is a great system, and I understand how to mask a program, how to unmask a program. I know, I learned all this. It's not complicated. But when you ask this some help in a community on Reddit, I know Reddit's not the best place to go, but I go on Reddit because I like Reddit. And I just ask a question, like, like trying to figure it out. And there's people that tries to help me out, but I get downvoted all the time just for asking a question. And yeah, I don't know. People are, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the community, but that'll be the last time I'll ever ask for help in a Reddit community. Anyways, my point is, I like Gentoo. I'm going to stick with Gentoo. I like Arch Linux, and I'm going to use Arch Linux. But I just think it's when it comes to testing out, like, let's say KDE beta software, they make it very hard. Like I spent a whole day trying to figure out how to really get it up and going. I had not succeeded at all, and that's the reason why I kind of just was desperate to find a solution. And it's not because I want it. I just want to see if it works, because I tried everything. I even tried what people suggested me when I posted that for help on the subreddit. So I done exactly what they told me to do, and still block packages, conflict packages. I don't know. It's really a mess. Like, I don't know what's going on with Portage, but I'm new to Gentoo. Like, I will say, like, I use it in the past. I know how to use Gentoo for the most part, but I'm still quite new to it. Okay, I'm not like, I'm not a Gentoo expert. And then people, they act like everybody should know things. I read the handbook. I read the handbook probably more than most people in the Linux world. Like, I read everything. I'm a person that geeks out. Like, I don't like reading novels or anything, but when it comes to, like, handbooks for an operating system, I'll read the whole freaking handbook. I'll read it step by step. Like, I read, like, the whole entirety of FreeBSD handbook. I read the whole entirety of Arch Linux handbooks. Like, I read a lot of things about computers because I love computers a lot, and I take a lot of interest into it. So when it comes to reading the effing manual, I do. I do, and I know what I'm doing. It's just the fact that when I'm trying to sort something out, it just seems like there's a problem, and it's like people think like they probably don't even test it out or even know if it works or not. They just assume it works because they have it in a form. What? I didn't do that, man. Okay. Anyways, sorry. So, like, they figured that it works, and I don't know. I don't want this here. They figure that it works because they see it, like, and they have, like, like messages, how to do things. But seriously, it's more complicated. Like, I copy and paste what they asked me, like all the packages that are masked. I copy and paste it all into, package.unmask and /etc/portage. And I basically run, the updated command, and it just gives me a whole bunch of things. And I'm not sure if if this like has to be done through a system that doesn't have KDE already installed. I don't know. But either way, the whole process of to get the beta of KDE 6 onto Gentoo is probably the worst process I ever seen in any distribution. And the funny thing is, I really love Gentoo, and I'm sticking with Gentoo because I want to learn more about it. I want to get better at it, Gentoo. I want to become a better Gentoo user. And when I go in the community to ask for help, I get downvoted and basically laugh at, so to speak. It's very people don't have really much compassion anymore in the Linux community. The Arch Linux community, as much as I said in the past that they're very toxic, I actually find the Arch Linux community is probably one of the best communities out there. Like, I mean, of course, we're gonna have some of these, rude oddballs around, but that's just life in general. Every group has this. Every group that you're gonna be in this world, you're gonna have somebody that's just totally just not cool, right? Just total asshole, right? But I'm just saying, for the most part, like I actually feel pretty much fit in more with the Arch Linux community. I think the people are actually more down to earth. Gentoo people are not too bad, but a lot of them, they think that they're better than most people because they're using a system that's more complex than most Linux distributions. But it doesn't mean that they're more smart. They just know Gentoo because they use it a lot. And for the most part, I know a lot about Gentoo for the time that I've been using it. I'm not a big expert at Gentoo because I don't use it that much. I have used it many times in the past, and I stopped using it. But it doesn't mean that I hate Gentoo. I love Gentoo. I actually think it's one of my favorite systems. If not, probably is my favorite system of all systems that I play around with. And I do like the way it's designed and constructed. I really like the source base. I really like their package manager. I just think it's very complicated at some points. Like, if you want to, like, when it comes to masking and unmasking things and, testing out like software, like, I know this is not like an Arch Linux distribution. That's probably why I'm using it like that, and it's probably not meant to be like that. So probably that's one reason. I should just wait till KDE 6 come out because it'll be released in a few weeks anyways. It's supposed to come out this month, right? At the end of this month. So I'll just wait. But I kind of like KDE 6 in some ways because it's hard to like make another workspace. Like if you go to like here, there's no way to make another workspace. But KDE 6, it gives you options. Like it's designed a lot better compared to 5. I mean, yes, you can go to settings, you can add more virtual desktops. But what I'm trying to say is that KDE 6, I really like the overview section where you can add different desktops right from there. And that's one feature that I like in KDE 6. That's just one of the features I like. There's many other features I like in KDE 6 that improves KDE 5, and just little things improve a lot in KDE 6, like over 5. But anyways, I wanted to test it out on here. I installed OpenSUSE. I took off my Gentoo system because I'm like, I'm done with Gentoo. I was kind of pissed. But I figured I was going to go back to Gentoo anyways. I did make a stage 4 backup of this system. So, if I want to put Gentoo back, I can put it back easily just by going to my Arch Linux system and basically basically setting up a stage 4 onto another disk, which I can set up Gentoo easily onto another disk and migrate to any other system on any other hard drive anywhere. And that's one thing I really like about stage 4. But I just wanted to see how easy it was to set up KDE 6 onto OpenSUSE, and it was a pretty easy process as well. They have a whole big, page where you can get like repos, and it tells you how to install the latest KDE to test out. And it was a very easy process, just like how it was on Arch Linux. and FreeBSD. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why does Gentoo make it so hard for people to test out things when it's a system that it should, like, especially Gentoo, it should be a system that you want to kind of test out stuff, you know what I mean? Instead of masking everything. Like, I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'm just sort of, whoops. Maybe I'm just sort of kind of like bummed out with that. Like, I can't really test out KDE 6 on Gentoo. I have to wait till it comes stable, if it will, you know what I mean, or get released. I don't know. I mean, I could still keep trying at it, but I think that I'll just do my head in, and I'll probably just end up quitting Gentoo because I spent a whole day or two just trying to really get KDE 6 to work on Gentoo, and man, they make it really hard for you to do that, really. And I'm doing everything right. Like, I'm reading handbooks, I'm doing everything, I'm like double checking my work, I'm reading all the messages on the screen. Like, I know how to use Linux, I know how to use Gentoo. I'm not completely dumb, you know. I mean, there's things I can make mistakes in, but I'm quite sure I'm doing exactly what it's saying users to do when it comes to doing what they're like to put KDE 6 on the system. I mean, I quite have knowledge, you know, to a certain degree where I know what I'm doing, you know what I mean? But anyways, this rant is just a rant. I just want to get it out of my system, but man, Gentoo, when it comes to install testing software of a desktop environment, it is a pain in the arse. Big time. Big time. Anyways, that is just my rant. But I still like Gentoo. I still think it's a great system. And there's one person in the comment on the Gentoo subreddit saying, people still use stage 4? Yes, people still use stage 4. I use stage 4, and I actually think it's a really great thing to have. I think it works really well. Like, stage 4 is great for me because I can just back up my whole system and basically migrate it to any other system or any hard drive that I want. And I think it's a very useful tool. It's basically installed Gentoo with stage 3, but just having a full install system of your own system. And I don't know why people would stop using that tool. It works great. I don't know what that comment was. Maybe people are just new school. I don't know. But I use stage 4, and I think it works great. Because when I install OpenSUSE, I install it on the hard drive that I had Gentoo on. And I just put Gentoo back on the hard drive using stage 4. And I got my system here that's already configured up and going in about an hour or less, because I updated everything, and I actually done my Gen file system tab from Arch Linux. I actually set up the whole system all in Arch Linux, and then I just reboot into the hard drive, and Gentoo worked flawless. It just worked, just boot up. And that's one thing I really like about this source-based distribution, is that you can do stuff like that. Like, you can gunzip the whole entire system and just migrate to another system. I think that's really flexible of Gentoo, and that's why I love it a lot. But when it comes to the package manager, not really a big fan of Portage, to be honest. But it's probably because I don't really know the system that well. I think the more I use Gentoo, the better I'll get at it. So probably in the future, I'll probably know how to test out stuff that are masked and test it out easily. But KDE is quite a big, software, I should say. Like, it's a desktop environment, so it has a lot of dependencies and a lot of packages to unmask. And yeah, it probably can be hectic. But also, I could be probably doing something totally wrong, because I don't really know entirely the system as good as some people have been using it for years. I hadn't been using Gentoo for years. I'm still new at it. Even though I used Linux for many years, Gentoo is just a whole different level of computing. But I like it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. That's my rant. Have a good one. Cheers.